All right, man, peace. So, NBA great LeBron James has had a very trying season thus far. And of course, it culminated in last night's blowout loss to the Toronto Raptors. In the aftermath of LeBron James's implosion on the sideline due to being blown out, it was revealed by the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Tyron Lue, that he believes that many members of his team have agendas. And some in the mainstream sports media have pointed the finger at LeBron James because it seems to be that is who Tyron Lue was primarily talking about. Of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Want to talk about the Cavaliers? They had a couple days off leading into last night's game against the Raptors. Did it fix anything? No, it did not. They had a film session about their defensive issues. Did it fix anything? No, it did not, people. Toronto.
Well, look, the Cleveland Cavaliers' issue with defense is not going to get any better because they don't have the personnel to play good defense. And the couple of players that they have who actually can play defense don't play offense well, that being J.R. Smith and Iman Shumpert. So that's the problem when you don't have two-way players. See, the thing with the Golden State Warriors is that their best players play both offense and defense. And you can make the case that when you go all the way down the line, even on their bench, their players play both offense and defense. That's what makes them so difficult to beat. LeBron James does not even play good defense anymore. Dwayne Wade can't guard his position anymore. Isaiah Thomas could never guard his position. Neither could Kevin Love. So the signs are really starting to be firmly written on the wall that Cleveland may not even get out of the East. But as I say incessantly, I give credit to the representative of a conference from the previous year, especially a team like Cleveland who's been to the finals for 3 straight years. I have to see them lose first. But it looks to me as if Boston has the ingredients that it takes to beat them.
Toronto put up 133 points on Cleveland, in front of Ambassador Drake. Things came to a head during a timeout in the second quarter when LeBron laid into the team. By the way, Kyrie liked a video about a counter on IG. And here's what Tyron said after.
We got to be better. We know that, but until we play better defensively, I think offensively, sharing the basketball, I think everyone on the same page, and if guys have agendas, we got to get rid of our agendas and play the right way.
What do you mean by that?
That's what I said.
Do you think they do?
I don't know.
Well, obviously he does know, because if he didn't know, then he would not have said it. And it's very, very clear that he's pointing his finger at LeBron James. That is what inspired the assistant coach to address LeBron in the huddle, which caused LeBron to implode. LeBron's one of these players who, unfortunately, and I stated this in a previous video, sometimes you can have too many gifts. Sometimes you can be too gifted for your own good in certain situations. And sometimes your gift can become your curse. LeBron James is extremely gifted in numerous ways. He can see the floor, he can see the game in ways that other players cannot see it. And it creates a demeanor within him to where he believes that he's above reproach and that he can do no wrong. We've seen him have sideline blow-ups with Tristan Thompson, with Kyrie Irving, with Kevin Love, with his coaches. And I believe that many on his team are getting tired of his antics and his I'm above it all mentality. And let me say this, Mr. Chris Broussard has revealed that the reason why the coach for the Cleveland Cavaliers, the assistant coach, addressed LeBron in the huddle is because it's believed by many on the Cleveland staff that LeBron is forsaking defense and trying to hold the ball on offense to improve his assist numbers and to raise his proficiency and efficiency rates. As I've been telling you guys for a very long time, it was very, very obvious to me what LeBron was doing on offense and that he's very cognizant of his efficiency stats because he's going to try to use them at the end of his career to claim that he's better than Michael Jordan. And of course he's going to deny that, but LeBron, being the genius that he is smart enough to know that they're not good enough to beat the Golden State Warriors. He knows that.
It wasn't a question.
All right, Byron, put that coaching
Come on,
back
coach.
on.
Hey, listen. If they got agendas, we got problems. Yeah. We know that. If they got agendas. But the thing that I think about when I look at Cleveland is, number one, they've been there. They've done this over the last couple of seasons where, they go through these laws to get ready for the playoffs.
I agree, and that's why I'm still willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. And if LeBron James does have agendas, or an agenda, singular, Ty Lue and the Cleveland front office have no one to blame but themselves. Because they've helped foster that mentality that he has that he cannot be addressed. They knew that Kyrie wanted to play point guard, but they didn't want to tell LeBron to play off the ball because LeBron is a control freak. And it's natural, as I've already stated, when you have the mentality of a king, you want to control. Both Kyrie and LeBron were kings. You can't have two kings ruling one castle. One of them had to go.
They put the whole season into, getting ready in March, April, May to make that run.
It's a different team.
It is a different team, but they still got number 23 on that team.
Yeah, but
I agree with 11. You. I agree with you. You're right. I agree with you.
Thank you.
But the fact of the matter is, they've done this over the last 3 or 4 years. At some point in time, it's going to come back and bite you in your butt. And they can't continue to do this. And like Ty was saying, when he's talking about agendas, everybody's got to get right back on the same page and realize that this is not the team that we had here the last couple of seasons, or the last 3 seasons, just went to the finals. You better get off your high horses and start realizing that we have to start playing right now as a group, as a team, in order to get back to the finals. Because right now it don't look real good.
Let me say this before Tracy starts speaking. LeBron James right now is thinking about where he can go. And when I say where he can go, I'm talking about in free agency, where he can still exist and not feel any type of guilt or shame for leaving Cleveland again. Because to leave Cleveland again would mean that he has to uproot his family again and possibly go through having to sustain and deal with a level of vitriol nowhere near as intense as what he dealt with the last time, but still, he's going to have to deal with some vitriol if he leaves Cleveland again. And we all know that LeBron does not deal with negative energy well. I mean, I don't think anybody who's functional deals with negative energy that well. But he's not going to be able to deal with going to a San Antonio or to another team, a Houston Rockets team, and have to come into Cleveland to play Cleveland. I could definitely see LeBron sitting out those games if he were to leave. But there's no doubt in my mind that he's sitting back thinking to himself, this team is not good enough to win a championship. I'm 33 years old. I probably have one more contract left in me playing at this level, unless I find performance-enhancing drugs even better than the ones I'm using right now, allegedly. So I'm sure that all those things are going through LeBron's mind.
I look at this team, and before in the past, like when they have these droughts like this, I wasn't really
worried about it.
Concerned. But I'm concerned about this team.
I agree.
One, because their age, they are older. I look at Earl Smith. He's at the shooting guard position. He's not playing well. He's not playing well. He's out of whack.
Remember that Tracy has a little beef with J.R. Smith because of a little issue that he had about, when Tracy basically stated that he'd rather be a Hall of Famer than have won a championship. J.R. Smith shot back at him, I believe over Twitter or Facebook, on one of them social media outlets, where he stated that Tracy was wrong for saying that. And of course, they got into a little back and forth. So now Tracy calls him Earl instead of JR.
Tristan Thompson, where's the energy that he used to provide offensively, rebounds and stuff like that? I don't see that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's under the Kardashian curse. You're not going to see him perform anymore, Tracy. He's done. He's finished. Tristan Thompson is just an extra in a movie right now. He's just walking through. He doesn't play a part anymore. He's done. His name is Tristan Kardashian.
All of that, what they used to bring, is gone. LeBron he's not that dominant defender that he once was because of the minutes. He has to.
And also the age. People are scared to admit that LeBron is getting older. Yes, the nigga's getting older. It's okay to acknowledge that. Did you see that close-up of him in the post game? I mean, the man looked like Santa Claus. It's just the streaks of gray everywhere. The man barely has any hair on his head, but out of the 10 strands of hair he got on top of his head, 5 of them was white.
Reserve himself for the long playoff run. He can't be out there guarding the best player every night, every possession. He can't do that.
Look at LeBron with his spazzing out. And I told you to come up on a pick and roll, Kyrie. Kyrie ain't even here no more. That's why I'm mad.
Do that. So these other guys have to be accountable because defensively, that's where they're really struggling at. And I didn't think I would say this They're missing 11, man. They're missing number 11.
Absolutely. They're missing Kyrie. They are missing Kyrie. Right now, Cleveland is like that dude that had a good woman and ran her off and now just sitting up at home eating ice cream in his drawers.
11, because when they struggle defensively, what he could do is provide them offensively and instant offense to carry them, to get them out of this funk. But and we have to also take in consideration that Isaiah Thomas is just now coming back.
Yeah, but Isaiah Thomas at his best is not going to be able to replace Kyrie. Certainly not on the defensive end. And I don't care what people say about Kyrie. Kyrie played good defense on Steph in the finals and in all 3 finals that they played. In 2015, he only got to play in 1 game, and his defense on Steph was good in that game.
He doesn't have his legs under him. So
he looked good in his first couple games, and then since then he's had some shooting trouble.
That was all. I'm gonna tell you as a basketball player. I was about to say, as a player, your first couple games, all the drilling.
Now it's all the legs.
Absolutely, and that also pertains to Steph Curry when he came back in the 2016 playoffs. You have a lot of these guys who despise Curry, and they say, well, there's no excuse for Curry being injured in the finals because he came back against Portland and he had that great overtime. That clearly was adrenaline. What I blame Curry for in the finals was how he just mentally tapped out in Game 3 and just sat there like a zombie. But who knows? I've already stated I believe he's a monarch athlete, so someone may have stated a phrase to him that made him shut down for that game. But he was nowhere to be found in Game 3. His performance in that game was pathetic. And it was very, very unbecoming of a unanimous MVP. And once again, had he won the championship that year and won the MVP of that finals, there would have been people who would have stated that he was a top 10 all-time player. Like, he had so much media behind him that season that had he won the championship and done it in dominating fashion, if he'd have had a playoff run like the regular season run that he had, there would have been people claiming that he was a top 10 all-time great player. If you guys remember, ESPN came out with a list that had him ranked above Isaiah Thomas as an all-time point guard. Now, I think that by the end of his career, Steph will be a top 20 all-time great player. But that 2016 collapse definitely took a lot of steam away from the engine that was being used to push and promote him.
Legs are weary.
Yes.
He's trying to get used to get back to basketball shape. And right now, he's not in great basketball.
When that wears off,
yeah.
Then we'll see
All right, so
who
how
he
many
is.
games do you think is going to take him to get where you guys think he needs to be?
We don't know. It might take him a month.
Yeah,
and remember, too, and I stated this as Isaiah Thomas was coming back, LeBron is going to have to give him a month and a half to figure out what his role is going to be on the team. He has to do that, and LeBron is not a patient dude. Most geniuses are not patient. They're just not. So it's definitely going to take a lot of strain, or it's definitely going to put a lot of strain on LeBron to wait a month and a half for Cleveland to figure out how to win with Isaiah Thomas in the lineup. So we'll see if Cleveland's going to be ready by April. We're already heading, almost halfway through January. Before you know it, it's going to be the All-Star break. So it's going to be interesting to see how Cleveland comes out of the All-Star break.
Might be after All-Star break.
Yeah.
And you've been a player with agendas in a locker room, right? Not you personally, but I mean, you've been.
Of course, yes. These guys think they could do it on their own.
Mm-hmm. Well, we shall see. Coming up.
But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see what else emerges out of the Cleveland Cavaliers locker room, because I'm sure that it's not over yet. LeBron is not a guy who takes accusations well. He's not going to take them lying down. And it would not shock me to see a major flare-up between him and Tyron Lue before the regular season is over. But LeBron pretty much knows that he cannot afford to have Tyron Lue removed or fired right now. It would definitely reflect poorly on him. And if you notice, during that tirade, Dwayne Wade was in the background with his head down, just looking around like, what the fuck have I got myself into with this shit? I could be down in Miami right now with a team that is, about 7-8 games above 500, chilling out there in the sun, bopping some fine Cuban broads, while my so-called wife is running around getting her coochie licked out by Aaron Rodgers' ex-girlfriend. Allegedly. What's her name? Olivia Munn. Supposedly her and and Dwayne Wade's so-called wife, Gabrielle Union, were running off on a vacation. I told you guys that Gabrielle Union, she's a pansexual. I could tell. All right, not to digress, but I'm already on record as stating that I believe Olivia Munn was a beard for Aaron Rodgers, and that would make her, of course, a quote-unquote lesbian. But, that's neither here nor there. I'm not going to go too much into that situation. But I'm sure that Dwayne Wade is thinking right now, wow, I could have been in Miami. But anyway, peace.